Let's take a look at the headlines on Nigerian papers right now. I have with me in the studio Sheson Kwade. He's a public affairs analyst, a chartered accountant. It's nice to have you join me. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Yeah. And I also have with us Obani Akinwale to make sense of all of this. He's a social commentator. Thank you very much, Obani. Thank you. Very good. Now let's begin from the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper says states differ as Zamfara, Gombe begin ranching, Oyo, Cross River, others oppose project. Ruga settlements nearing completion. Zamfara state is saying this. Ranching set to take off, says Nasarawa. And cattle rearing is private business, says Oyo. No budget for ranching for now, Ekiti is saying that. And Ondo deploys Amotekun in forest reserves, ejects errant herders, seizes 5,000 cows. That's on the Punch newspaper. The Nation is next now. The Nation newspaper says governors move to douse rising tension over herders. Uzodimma Bagudu Badaru meet with Ohaneze, Mieti Allah others, and notes helmsmen Rufai caution against escalating violence. All right, all that on the front page of the Nation newspaper. That's The Guardian is next now, and The Guardian is saying something different. Why Nigeria ranks top in global unserviceable airplane poll, and how poor funding, wrong equipment, zero maintenance facility populate boneyards. Experts blame regulators, wrong business models. Okay, on the front page there you see pictures of some aircrafts that have been there. One of them, Nigeria Airways, that used to be the pride of Africa. All right, that's The Guardian newspaper. Let's go to Daily Sun. Northern governors OK trial of criminal herdsmen and charge security agents to protect law-abiding citizens. We didn't issue quit notice to Northerners. Ohaneze is saying this. All right, that's all on the front page of the Daily Sun. From there, let's go to the Vanguard newspaper. It's focusing on the eviction. Northern governors reply, Akeredolu, Igboho, others, say criminal elements shouldn't be used to tar any ethnic group. Urge leaders at all levels to stop inflammatory remarks capable of worsening insecurity. Rufai condemns eviction of herders, says Nigerians can live wherever they want. Suspected herdsmen set school ablaze in Kogi, and nobody asked all Northerners to leave South, says Ohaneze. Okay, all that is still trying to bring explanations to the issues on ground. That's a Vanguard newspaper. This Day is next now. This Day says Buhari gives ex-service chiefs golden parachutes, nominates them as ambassadors. IG service extension draws knocks from lawyers and the PDP. Okay, we'll take a look at some of these when we open the discussion. That's This Day newspaper. Now let's go to Daily Trust. Stop attacking herdsmen now. Northern governors are saying this. And tell them to stop committing crimes. Southwest governors reply. 37 herdsmen, 5,000 cows chased out of Ondo forest reserves. Rufai reacts as Facebook deletes Nnamdi Kanu's account. Okay, that's all on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Blueprint is next. Ohaneze declares we never issued quit notice to Northerners. That's a Blueprint. Blueprint newspaper is saying that, and says Ndigbo are nation builders, not destroyers. Don't criminalize Fulani over vices of bad elements. The NGF cautions as the Nigeria Governors Forum. Now, Motekun arrest 37 herders, 5,000 cows, and that's in Ondo State. Arrest perpetrators of violence, and NSCIA tells the DSS. Okay, that's the Blueprint newspaper. Leadership now. Leadership says Northern governors kick against eviction of herdsmen from the South. Leadership is saying that the Northern governors kick against eviction of herdsmen from the South. Say Nigerians are free to live anywhere, to review reports on security, economy, and target revival of NDDC, Kaduna Textiles, others with 6 billion naira. Okay, that's the Leadership newspaper. Daily Times. Daily Times is next. Federal government, others differ as Buhari extends IGP Adamu's tenure. Federal government, others differ as Buhari extends IGP Adamu's tenure. That's Daily Times. Okay. From there, let's go to News Direct. Buhari nominates former service chiefs as ambassadors, extends IG's tenure, reappoints Joseph as NAIC MD. Okay, that's the News Direct. Then Business Day says what Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement can learn from West Africa Trade Pact pitfalls. What the AFCTFTA can learn from West Africa Trade Pact pitfalls. Okay, that's the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. That's what it's talking about there. That's Business Day. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about this issue that a lot of people have been reacting to. Let's get perspectives to this. Now, the tenure of the IG of police was supposed to end in the first week of February. But the president, who also has the right and the powers, constitutional powers to extend or not extend, change, and all of that, has decided to extend by 3 months. And Nigerians are reacting to this one way or the other. That, of course, February 2021 did not pop out of the skies, that we all knew that it was coming one way or the other. Whether we prepared well or we didn't prepare well, all of that, because one of the reasons was that to be able to arrange a seamless transition and also get a good hand to handle. Obani, let me start with you on this.
Nigeria is not like we call abracadabra. The more you look, the less you see. Without considering the fact that the current IGP, in person of gentleman Mohammed Adamu, has done a fantastic job. He's a proponent of community policing. He's a proponent of ensuring that policing is done at the lowest level. He's done his best to ensure there is civility in terms of how police things are being done. His wisdom of managing the NSAS is something that we should commend. But nonetheless, we ask ourselves, this is a man that has been appointed for over years. Are we saying that over the time that the Police Service Commission has promoted a couple of guys to IGP and what have you, are we saying that our constitution that states, the Police Act, that states that it's either you are 60 or 35 years in service and you are bound to go?
Whichever comes first.
Are we saying those laws are no longer tenable? Or perhaps there is no competent Nigeria, or there is nobody in the police, possibly that has minimum of 4 years as AIG or as DIG, that can take over that office? Or are we even saying there are DIGs that they don't have even less than 3-4 months to make their 35 years in service that can fill that position? So if it will take the president 3 more months to now look at the CV, where is somebody that he has been working with for over years, people that you have been having some Police Service Commission meeting with, people that have been in your Security Council meeting and what have you, and yet we're now saying we're extended by 3 months. So what we have said in essence is that out of all our current AIGs, CPs, nobody is so intelligent that can man the police commission. That is one. Two, the president has to be very, very careful, and so that it will not be counted as being nepotic. You recall the period of the current immigration man. His tenure was extended. You look at the woman from MPA, his tenure was extended. You look at people like Fowler, they were asked to go. Look at people like the man from Rivers, Peter side. He was asked to go. So the president will not think or give them any extension to do anything. So why is it that
But the CBN governor had another tenure.
The CBN was not extended. The laws allow the CBN governor to do 2 terms. The Police Act says that you can only do 1 term of 4 years. So the law allowed the president to send the CBN governor for the 2nd time. So what we're saying is that why do we do this extension? Are we saying there is no continuum in police service in case this current IGP, who has done fantastically well, no doubt about it, if he leaves the shore, nobody can go ahead with the police reform, with the police barrack stuff. So there's a lot of things that the presidency needs to do carefully. And sometimes I'm ashamed or I'm embarrassed to know that the person in caliber of our current chief of staff to the president, who is an international recognized person in terms of foreign and local policies, should know better. So if a police, even the IGP himself he's already packing his. I watched his interview with Uzona Onoye, and you could see the way the man was talking was like a parting shot. What have you done? I will be glad that we have done this. I will be glad that we have done that. And all of a sudden, somebody say you need to stay for 190 days. What morale are you giving to those AIGs that are in current service? What happens to the colleagues of those AIGs? Some DIGs have 3-4 months to go. That they'll be aiming that I got to the peak of my career. What happens to them? What happens to those AIGs that are already anticipating that, oh, if Mr. X takes over based on police act, can do 4 years, there is tendency that I can get to the pinnacle of my career. What are we even sending to Nigerians that the best of us are the one current losers and the rest of us don't have the capacity to rule? So the president have to have everything and do what he said. I ensure that as the president of the country, the sanctity and the efficacy of our constitution is never jeopardized, no matter who is involved, no matter who else is gone. So that's my view. All
right. Now, Sheson, the point there is there are lots of comments that we're hearing from people and analysts from within and outside the system. You know, when a new IG is coming on board, many times there are selection of or select other senior police officers who are certainly going to go.
Yeah.
So when, like Ni has said, when you look at the entire Nigerian police system, we know we have intelligent, highly intelligent, world-acclaimed professional police officers. But it's taking the president an extension of time to be able to pick one. Do you think this is more about politics at this time, trying to get someone? Because if it comes to the police system, it's regimented. So if the IG is going, you could still say, well, the most senior police officer can stay in an acting capacity until someone is picked or something.
Yeah, first and foremost, my perception about this is the Nigerian Police Commission. We've not heard from them. There is a role they need to play in this to the presidency. They are like the regulator of the system. To state that once you're 35, you are not supposed to stay a day beyond this and make certain recommendation to the presidency. First and foremost,
we assume that the president and the commission are working together.
As far as on my own side, they are not working together.
Okay, but you said you've not heard from the commission.
Because the commission,
if they've not said anything, then it means...
you see, one thing we should learn in this country is always give your side of it. That as far as this is concerned, we've done ours, is on the table of the president. Then we can know how to address it. For me, I go on the path of Obaniyi, but I still feel that the regulators, those are supposed to work. Let's hear from them to say, okay, on our part, we have looked at the certain people and we have made certain recommendations to the president, but in president's wisdom, he has decided for now, possibly trying to carry out his own investigation, which he's supposed to have done, because definitely we all know that there's a set date that he must, and they must have communicated that to him. So it's something that I expect that Service Commission to come out and give a position on this particular thing so that we know where we're going. But on the part of the extension from the president, I want to go in line with what he said. I think we are beginning to see what every Nigerian is saying about nepotism. That every other people do not have extension. But when it comes to certain set of people in the country, we give extension to them.
Would you see that as nepotic? Because the point there is, they are all Nigerians who have held a post and extending their tenure. Would you see extending their tenure as nepotic?
Don't we have someone among the DIGs that these 3 months that the president is talking about can act pending when you have a substantive IGP? That's my argument. Why are you extending it? Fine, he has done brilliantly well. Don't let us set... I keep telling everybody in every gathering, it's difficult when you set a precedent. It's going to be... You see, history. Just quite disheartening that we don't read history in schools again.
No, it's been brought back.
Well, I don't know if it's been brought back now. Yeah. But these are things that will be written. And 20 years to come, somebody will read about this to say, in 2021, an IGP was supposed to leave the office, and he did not. It's not left for that, but okay, well, I can go in line with what our founding fathers did. 20 years ago and act in that capacity. And that's why history, when it's written, is difficult to erase. So we should not set precedents that, for me, I keep asking myself the question, is there more that we don't know, that the presidency know, that they are not relating to? And that's what
no, of course. There's so
this communication gap.
There's so much they know because
Don't also forget that this current IGP has taken the Police Service Commission to court severally. You remember the recruitment of the 7,000 constables.
Exactly.
Yeah. And by the act that set up the PSC, they were meant to promote, recruit, and do whatever for Police Service Commission. And the IGP enrolled people into police service without the consent of and it took them to court. They received front and back, and the presidency kept mute. Now, what I'm saying in a sense is that, like he mentioned, we are the posterity will judge all of us. Do you know now that it is possible in Nigeria to have a medical doctor as a new IGP? You laugh, and I will give you an example. By what has happened in 2015, when indefatigable Colonel Umar was made Ali was made the Controller General of Nigeria Customs Service, which means that every custom officer that are looking forward to become a Controller General has been deprived of that right in the last 5 years. So the president, I don't want to say violates, if there's a way the president has the prerogative to bypass the police stars that state that 4 years, 35 years in service, you must go, and you're giving that extension, the president can call Mike tomorrow and say you have done well on the breakfast, and we know that you are a community person. That's what I'm saying. So because if this happen, yes, we will see liars like Adegoru or Zekome always making noise. Yes, they have to, because some people have to come out and say what is true. So if care is not taken, if the IGP can take PSC to court, then don't forget that the prerogative of taking, unlike judicial commission whereby the CJ, the eldest person takes over, or they sit down and recommend to the council, the president is the only one that can pick who the IG is, and they can decide to go and pick IG from the commissioner rank. So, but what the law has said now is that you must have at least 4 years as an AIG before you can take over that role. That was what the problem is. It would have been easy to go and pick somebody, a CP or a fresh AIG who has spent 3 years to become the IG. But the act states that you must be at least 4 years in that senior capacity before you can be put as a substantial IGP. But again, like you mentioned, is it wrong for us to look for any current IGP and put that person in acting capacity? Why is it difficult? Then why again is it that at every time we seem to have some gains in terms of our processes, our procedures, the presidency technically put us back? You know what has happened now? The issue of Fulani, herders, bandits, and what have you is now going to go to the dustbin of history. And this is another distraction. Because you ask yourself, do we need to continue to keep Mr. Adamu? Yes. As what? Maybe as an honorary advisor or a member of Police Service Commission, so that I can put him. Again, don't forget that Adamu don't make the natural decision on what happens in police. He sits down with AIGs, DIGs to make laws, and they all say that it's just like the chairman of the council to decide. So what happens is that whatever reform is carried on in police now is a collective effort of both DIG and AIGs. And again, we have our good brother, Frank Uba, who happens to be police spokesperson, who says that fine gentleman cannot be the next AIG and next IG. He has done it here in Lagos. I am not laundering his image. So what we're saying is that people like Frank Uba will be looking
promoted to CP.
So people like Frank Uba will be looking up that one day I will become the IG of this country, which I would love based on his record in Lagos. Now the question is that it can go to a point where you have fine gentleman like that, or DSP Abba or DCP Abba Kyari, and the president says, because I have not decided, whoever the president is, I am extending it by 1 year. So we have to be careful. History will judge us. Okay,
then next to that is the ex-service chiefs that the president has sent their names to the Senate for nomination as ambassadors designate.
Ambassador General.
Now, this has not really happened before, and this is another precedent that the president is bringing on board. Now, one cannot rule out the fact that these are intelligence officers who, one way or the other, are going to help Nigeria's international intelligence network, as the case may be. If you see from that window, would you see this as a welcome development?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll take that as part of the new introduction as added value on the part of presidency. The last one we knocked them, and now they are introducing something to. These officers have done wonderfully well, nominating them as ambassador. My challenge is if somebody has worked very well, I think it will be much more better to give them advisory role and groom the younger ones to come up. We should leave this idea of somebody is over 60. When you keep telling us, we are the leaders of tomorrow, as we speak, I cannot even lead my community because everyone at the end of our fear are people that are above 60, 70, 80, and are still leading us. But we've said this times with that number, we should give room to the young ones. Fine, we know we have the energy. Where do we deposit this energy? Is you will now go as an elder statesman to be in advisory capacity to the younger ones. This is how you do it. Sheson, I know these are your plans. Take it cool. We have passed through it. Experience is always the best teacher, like we say. Give it to them. But how are we grooming them? You discover that, and then look at the cabinet of the U.S. president. You have we have intelligent people in this country that we can give role to. So for me, good initiative, but how do we give room for the younger ones to climb the ladder and do what is needful?
Is that right, Albani?
Yeah, what I would just quickly say is that without missing word, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, Britai, and the NNS boss have done a fantastic job. We don't want to accept the facts. We know where the country was when President Jonathan was handing over. We know what good generals like Ejirika did in routing the Boko Haram out of the country. But nonetheless, some people said this is an opportunity to grant diplomatic immunity to these guys. You remember that there is call for trial for General Britai at the ICC because of blah, blah, blah. But I keep saying it. It's only in Africa here that when our general do their job and there are civilian casualties, we take them to ICC. But when it happens, when the America attack the man in Iran and there are civilian casualty, the president said we are the one that attack you. There was nothing like ICC probing into it. It's only the Amnesty International work better. But nonetheless, a good servant deserves his reward. And after this guy has carried gun and they have seen him, the best thing is to go on vacation. And this is only presidential vacation package. Don't forget, the election comes in 2023. And whoever becomes president can say all foreign missions should go back home. So what president has done is that this guy has done a very good job. They have been in theater command, they have flew war, blood. So just go to
Zambisa forest
around and go and relax, go and flex. So that by 2023, whoever comes in, at least by then you are refreshed. You have forgotten about the experience. So for me, like you said, president needs to start empowering this Orosoki generation. Because very soon, if you push a goat to the wall, they go to face you, and there won't be no way out.
It's okay. I must thank you all, gentlemen, Obani Akinwale and Sheson Kwade, for your insight into all of these. We look forward to greater days for Nigeria as we set precedences and, most importantly, communicate with Nigerians for them to understand every move that government is making. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.